tune in if you want to hear. So we have Chad, Josh, Dmitri, and Marcus every Friday.
It's the Square Round Table.
Tune in.
It's the Square Round Table podcast. Let's have a blast. I know at work you had a long day. Just relax and tune in.
All right. What's going on, my freaks and geeks? Welcome to the Square Round Table podcast. I want to thank all of our viewers and listeners for coming out again and joining us for another amazing episode, guys. And tonight is nothing different. Tonight, guys, we are joined by an amazing comic book creator, from the alien heroes to my brother Teddy to the crazy Napoleon from the Machine. Guys, please welcome Mr. Jaromir François. Thank you, sir, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome.
Thank you for the applause.
No problem, man. No problem. See how I turn on the talk show host real quick? You're just like, didn't take no time at all.
I like it.
I appreciate that. But no, man, for real though, thank you so much for coming out. We've been chopping it up a little bit before the podcast started. From comics to anime, we got a lot to talk about. But first, before we get into all of that good stuff, I just wanted to, we ask all of our guests this. I don't know if you've seen it from other podcasts, but we just like to make sure everything is going well with you, man. So how's everything been going lately? Just a little mental health check. How have you been doing?
I appreciate that. Right now, I'm all right. I'm just working. With my wife, we live here in New York City, just hanging out, chasing the dream. We have our ups and downs. Not me and my wife, just life.
Oh, yeah,
ups
yeah.
and downs.
Yeah.
Life be life, man. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I'm just in a place where I'm just chasing my dreams and just happy that I have a job, because I know post-pandemic, a lot of people lost their jobs. So I'm just happy that I was able to still have mine to chase my dreams. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's definitely good, man. Like I said, the pandemic, it was rough on a lot of people, but it's for sure a blessing, you know what I'm saying, to start something and to see it through and to be able to have something that you had in your head, because all of these stories and these worlds that you created, you had in your head. So to be able to have something like tangible and be able to share it when it's yours, it's your product, it's your baby, and you get to share it with the world, that's a blessing, man. So kudos to you for that. That's really awesome.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course. But the first thing we want to know, what's up, D? Were you about to say something?
I was gonna say, I was like, yeah, you gotta follow your dream. You gotta put that commitment out here. You gotta pursue it with everything. Because if you don't, then is it really a dream? You know what I mean?
Yeah, hashtag One Piece.
Exactly. I'm sitting here trying not to One Piece because you keep saying One Piece
I'll
and
do
everything.
I'm
just sitting there smiling every time. I'm just like,
already.
Yeah, man.
Yo, I don't
I'm
know.
trying to follow my dreams, and I'm like, oh man.
I know. I don't know if you guys follow Black Nerd Problems. Like, probably some of you do. There was like a post they did on Twitter at one point, or it's called X now. It was like One Piece fans are like Jehovah's Witness. And I found it, I'm not insulted. I don't like Jehovah's Witness sometimes because the way they just knock in people's doors. But I appreciate that they tell me things, and I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be the annoying person about it. Like when people talk about it, I'm like, hey, it's good if you like it. I wouldn't put people on it. The live action put you guys on it, so they did the job for us. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we told you.
People try to put you on though.
No, the movie were definitely the people that pull up to you like at 8:00 in the morning at the gas station on the corner, handing you pamphlets. That was the movie.
Oh
for
man,
sure. They definitely did the work.
It was like, man, have you heard of our Lord and Savior Luffy?
And for real. Like Netflix is so good, man, at what they do as far as like marketing and stuff. Because I was not on board. I was not going to watch it. Yeah. And then I saw the first thing they did when I opened Netflix.
It's right there.
It's right there.
It's right there. You can't help but to want to look at it because you're like, hey, look interesting. Yeah.
So I was like, we might as well. And then from the start,
then they recommend the anime once you're done with the live action. They'll recommend the anime too. Yep. I'm like, dang, they got it.
I was like, kudos to Netflix.
It's a double dose. So yeah, man. Because I was literally cooking, and I was like, man, why not? I ain't got enough. I can't come up with a better thing to watch right now. And then I watched it, and I couldn't put it down. So I was hooked.
Yeah, for something, yeah, for like I've been following for a minute. I was impressed with the casting, and then I was just like, I didn't expect it to fail. I just had no expectations because I'm like, look, if it fails, it doesn't hurt the source material. So I was like, I'm still gonna read One Piece. And for someone who's been watching it since I was 12, I was like, oh, for me it was just nostalgia. That's what it was to me. And just looking at it from like the cinematography of it, it's like it reminds me of this show. I never really watched it, but I knew it was very popular. Do you guys remember Once Upon a Time? It was like on ABC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of
Yeah.
that because of the cinematography is like that, and it's like that budget, like it looks just like it. And if you liked Pirates of the Caribbean, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean meets Once Upon a Time, and I was like, oh, I think they hit it. They got it right there.
Mm-hmm.
No, they did their thing, and that's funny. You said something about the cinematography in general, because that's one of the things that hooked me. And I didn't even think about the reference from Once Upon a Time, but I just loved how, because I know how wacky it is. Because I'm not too much of a novice when it comes to One Piece. Like I said, like when we were younger, they had the 4 kids run and then it stopped. I was just one of the people after it stopped. I just never really got back to it, but I was into it up to that point, so I knew the world and how it works. So when I watched the movie or the television show, and I was just like, wow, okay. Because a lot of the things that I can't stand about these live action representations of like anime shows is they take the whimsical nature out of it. They take the campiness out of it.
How to make it dark and serious.
Like I knew you were gonna say it, D.
The only live action Death Note I saw was the original Japanese one. I did not see the one with, was it Lakeith Stanfield?
Yeah,
Lakeith Stanfield.
And I forget the actor's name who played the main
Nat Wolf.
Light.
Yeah, he was in Hereditary, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's where it was from.
The funny thing is his brother was in Hereditary.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
the One Piece live action made me like want to give Death Note a chance, because like I wasn't gonna give it a chance, and I was like, you know what, maybe I'm prejudging these things. I didn't even want to watch it, and I went and watched it. I was like, nah, it's bad. It's bad. It's so bad that you get mad at yourself for putting yourself.
Well, you know what's another thing too? Cowboy Bebop. It was good, but like my only beef. And the thing is, Netflix is infamous. Me and my boy talk about it in our podcast. Infamous for just canceling shows. If no one likes it, with Cowboy Bebop, I thought for a show that was like relatively grounded compared to One Piece, I was like, oh, this probably can take off. I did not like Vicious in that show. He was too whiny. He was not the stoic villain that I liked in the anime. I think he wasn't, and I wasn't scared of him. Like in the anime, I was like, nah, Vicious is like scary. So the live action, perfect casting. I love that Jet was black. We knew he was black this whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I love the casting. I just didn't like the Vicious. He was like my only problem.
Yeah,
I was like, I think that was it. But
he didn't deserve the title Vicious. Like,
that's.
Are you really vicious though?
Exactly.
You're just annoying, really. You know. Yeah, and the other thing that I wasn't really like too much of a fan of, and I love the actor, but I just think Spike was a little too old. I was just like, he could have been.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
I don't know that I didn't think about the age.
It didn't bother you.
That bothered me. No,
it just.
Black people and Asians don't age.
Exactly.
I couldn't see it.
Yeah, no, I mean that's true. I just when I pictured like Spike, I don't know. I know he wasn't a teenager really, but it just gave me like early 20s vibes. Or I don't know.
I see what you're saying, but then if you remember in the show, in the anime, like I believe he was a soldier, so he was definitely older.
That's true. Mm-hmm. That's true. He was older. Yeah, that is true. I guess it's more of like a visual thing, but I don't know. And plus, I didn't really hate the series in general either. Like I get what you're saying about like Vicious, but at the same time, I thought that with some tweaks in writing, the second season would have been even better. But of course, we just never got that chance because they canceled things so quickly. So definitely a waste. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I think it's just because of the record of like live actions up into Cowboy Bebop. It's like people just didn't like them, or like Netflix didn't really take it as seriously. And the second they were like, okay, we'll take it a little more seriously with this project, and it still bombed. people were just like, okay, we're just gonna cancel it. We know the drill, so I just think it was just, they're used to people not liking them. But I will say, One Piece wasn't the live action that broke the curse. It was Alice in Borderland. Alice in Borderland, I would say broke the curse. I was thinking about the other day. That's that anime.
I think it's just one of those things that just doesn't have the mass appeal. I know that the show that you're talking about, and I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And then you think if you go into video games, to me it was more, it's Sonic, but I think there's something before that.
Yeah. Wow, I'm trying to think. Detective Pikachu? Kind of.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah, that would work.
Yeah, so yeah, I can definitely see that. But yeah, no, that's a good call out. I didn't even think about that. Like Alice in Borderlands was like, it was crazy from start to finish. Like
phenomenal. I love it. I've watched it 3 times back to front because it's well written and it keeps you like engaged, and like the ending is so good. I love it. Like I love this.
That was perfect.
This is great.
Yeah, no.
And I want to say something controversial. I think it's better than Squid Game, so we're just gonna
Well, you know what it is? I'm happy you brought it up. When Squid Game came out, it just blew up, and then me and my cousin looked at each other and we're like, "Yo, that's just an anime." Like people are like hyped about an anime.
No, it really was.
It really was.
Like I call the general population doesn't really watch anime, so when they got hyped about this, I'm like, dude, if you literally turn this into a 2D cartoon animated thing, it's an anime. So I was like, that's why we tell people like it's not cartoon. Go watch an anime, you'll get that type of thing. So I'm like, if you like Game of Thrones, go check out Fate Zero. If you like these things, go check these out. But people don't want to spend the time because it's that initial judging the book by its cover. It's a cartoon.
Exactly.
It's like people associate animation with Disney. Disney's done a lot of child stuff, so whenever they see anime, they're like, same. And I'm like, do you not understand it's a vehicle for storytelling? It's not It's not denoted to children's stuff. It's a vehicle for storytelling. You can tell any kind of story. You just gotta animate it and stuff like that. You can tell anything. Anything can happen in animation. You can get a lot more emotional stuff through the animation because you can do a lot more stuff with the characters than you can do in the live action. So it's just people need to get out of their own like head about shit. Like they really do. Disney is cool. I don't hate Disney, even though like I rag on sometimes, but I don't hate them. It's just you gotta get above thinking animation equals Disney equals Snow White or whatever, and go and get on some base anime. There's so much thought there that there's something for everybody. Like there's a category for everybody out there. You just gotta get just get feet wet.
Yeah.
No, I definitely think that too. And in general, like the thing I find funny about animation is that it wasn't even originally like a children's media, but just gradually over the years turned into that. It was just like I said, another way to show entertainment, but we're so heavily ingrained in it now that we even have like different variations of things. Like we have specifically adult cartoons, and I'm just like, and of course they're a little bit more crass, Family Guy and Rick and Morty and all that kind of stuff. But even without that, and I love American studios and American creators that sort of take that kind of, I guess you could say, take that tone or take that style from Japanese media where they're like, okay, so I'm gonna make a cartoon, but we're gonna not just treat it to where every 15 minutes is either a fart joke or some kind of children's reference or some kind of slapstick comedy like a Steven Universe or an Adventure Time. I love when I get to see, or like Over the Garden Wall. I don't know if you guys have ever watched that.
I've heard of it.
That's
I love those stories. Like Adventure Time is one of the things I remember. I think it was my freshman year in college, and I was like, it was just playing on like our gathering table. I'm like our lunch area. I'm forgetting the name, common area. It was like playing on the TV, and I was like, oh, what's this? Like, this is our cartoons now. It's trash. But then I think not 2 years later, I like sucked up I just watched everything. I was like, oh, this thing is great. And then that's when I started to focus more on, you can tell like these stories. And you mentioned Disney before. Disney, I'll tell you right now, I hate Hollywood to a certain degree, and you can see why the strike.
Yes, and trust me.
Yes,
I worked for the industry. I worked on a show, so I understand. I was like that before I worked on it, before I worked on the show, but I've always been like that because it gets so much about the dollar signs that all the good stories and there's no originality really to a lot of things now, and it's everything's almost like copy paste, and it's starting to bleed over into like animation now, and I really don't like that because I love animation. That was the
100%.
one thing that we had that was original, but now that's even becoming like copy paste. We got 3 copycat Rick and Morty shows, and you got the 3 copycat versions of like Family Guy. Now they might try to make a serious version of Star Trek, but make it animated. Yeah, it's almost like Futurama, but it's.
And I think what everyone's into now, and it's not that we're into it, it's just what the companies think that we're into, is nostalgia. And Disney, like, look, not gonna lie, I did Maleficent. I liked the beginning of it, but then they realized, oh, they like the nostalgia in live action. Let's give it to them. So we're in this now. We're in this nostalgia boat where Disney's wilding for doing a live action of Moana. And I'm like, that came out.
That's like, crazy.
Just came out.
And then I think it's WB. They're gonna reboot or give a sequel to I Am Legend. To me, that's just a classic. Yeah. Like that should have just stayed alone, and they're gonna bring back Will Smith's character.
And who our boy Chad? We always talk about him. He in everything.
I was
Michael
about to
B.
say,
Jordan.
He's gonna be in there, and it's like, look, I like Michael B. Jordan and like stuff. Like I don't see him anytime soon with any Oscars, but he's a good actor. But it's just let's keep using his because he's a pretty black man. Let's just get him in everything.
And that's so sad. That's so sad.
And that's why. I didn't have a favorite movie till I saw Snowpiercer. That's my favorite movie. It's a Korean movie. Same. If you ever seen Parasite, it's the same director.
Oh, okay.
So if you ever get the chance to watch Snowpiercer, it's with Chris Evans, one of my favorite actors.
Yeah, he also played one of my. Movie.
He played one of my favorite heroes. He's Captain America. I've always loved Captain America. Okay. I had to see Snowpiercer because he's in it, but it's one of my favorite movies, and that's why I think foreign movies. I'm happy that they're winning at the Oscars because they're getting more notice.
That is true.
That is true. I'm hyped for that. And when it comes to indie stuff, that's blowing up too. Like in general, be it comics or shows or movies.
I'm a big supporter of indie like films and like you just said, comics, because you can see like the passion in the project from the creators who make the stuff. You can see that they all into it, and it's something that they love and that they really care about when they make these projects. Like when I see indie films, it takes me back to what films started in the beginning and what it was, and it was people making movies because that's what they love to do. And same with like comic books, because even now comic books then got into this, it's falling into the same fate that Hollywood is getting political and all that. So
Marvel and DC, and it started with Marvel, and I never choose sides. I like all the stuff, but I've always DC stuff because DC's always had consistent writers, where Marvel was just hard to follow because when I always followed a writer, and then when they was like, oh, I'm following my favorite Spider-Man book, I love this writer, and then they changed the writer, and I'm like, this is crap now. So the Marvel was basically their comic books just advertised their property, their movie stuff, their shows.
Yeah,
DC started doing that too. DC just started their comics just advertise their stuff, and I don't like that. I definitely will collect books here and there if it's short or some image stuff. Image is generally creator owned, but Image has gotten to it's what do you call it when it's just like it's not a boys club, but it's a club for these people that are like the popular people, like Robert Kirkman. It's just a club for people like them because they know the stuff. So I remember, like for Napoleon from the Machine, which is for those listening, that's one of my books. I applied to get it published by Image, and they rejected, like no feedback, nothing. But it's they're such a big company, and I'm not surprised by the rejection. It sucks, but it's like they're a big company, and I don't know anyone in there except one person, but he himself just got in. So I was like, it would have been selfish to me to ask because he's a new person. But just definitely what I tell people, just if you have ideas, create your own stuff. Someone will pick it up.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, keep putting it out there.
No, you got to. You definitely got to. And one thing that I've learned just being a creative, and I think like Marcus and D have helped me out with that, as well. Like I'm sure that you do too. You got to create stuff that first and foremost you like. I feel like when you create something and you're trying to appeal, I think it's going to show. I think you want to make something that you enjoy, something that you like. Whenever I see something like when we saw the Netflix adaptation of One Piece, I was just like, wow, that seemed like a passion project of somebody that made something that they would want to see. It was like you can tell when somebody makes, or like Alice in Borderlands, or one of the many examples that we have in movies right now. Like I love The Whale when I got a chance to finally watch it. It was a tremendously sad movie, but I loved the precision that they took when doing a character study. It's like it was a character study in the literal sense that took place in one room completely. It was a whole story took place in one single room about this one guy.
Check that out.
Oh, I'm not gonna.
It's on my list. I just have a lot to watch. I gotta bump it up.
Beautiful movie, man. And just the opposite of that, once again, another movie that when you break it down, it's about a relationship between a mother and a daughter. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
I love it. That is my favorite. Best movie of 2022, hands down. I don't care.
Man,
I will argue with anybody with that about that, and that's why I won Best Picture, because it was the best movie of 2022. Yes.
Yeah. So I think when you get a chance to see movies like that, it's really refreshing because you're like, oh, okay, this person made something personal. They made something that they loved, and they got a chance to share it to the world. It wasn't, and I'm not saying that I hate the big budget things like the
we're definitely not saying that.
No, not at all. But I think there's something to be said about having room for both. You can have. We always talk trash about the Transformers movies on here. Like you can have your explosions and your Transformers movies, Michael Bay. You could do that. But also, I think there's room for other types of, I guess you could say, more intimate stories to be told.
For sure.
Like Bumblebee. That was an intimate story.
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that Bumblebee and then the first Transformers movies was like the best too. And then like I think the second movie, unfortunately, fell because of there was a writer's strike at that time. So it was just like that was just I can imagine what movie it could have been if it wasn't for the writer's strike. But I was like, that's the problem. We
that
have
sure was the first. Yeah, it was a strike.
That in my mind, kind of. And that's my first one. But I'm sure there was another.
Yeah, that was the first. Yeah, that was the first one I ever remembered.
I remember a lot of shows like getting hurt because of that. I remember Hero season 1. Most fire show ever.
I remember that.
It got destroyed because of it. So
that's crazy.
To be honest, it's a lot of big studios' fault. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, it really sucks.
Agreed. Yeah.
No, it is.
And Chad, you can't talk about my age no more. Just want you to know that.
Oh no!
Yeah, he be throwing jabs at me because I'm 32.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and he can't say that anymore because he's 30 now.
Yeah, he's joined the club.
I just joined the 30 club not too long ago. So
immediately his bones started cracking. He said, "I can't do too much."
My shoulder hurt a little bit.
You gotta stretch a little bit. Go for a walk.
You got to. You got to get it in. But yeah, Jaromir, we've been talking about a lot of things dealing with narrative, man, and dealing with different people telling their stories. I wanted to know specifically for you because we got a lot of good stuff to talk about, man, with your comics. But as far as
just like talking to you guys, why am I on here?
It's all good, bro. So we're gonna bring it back around, but I just wanted to get an origin story for you, man. Like, where does it come from? Number one, I know you're living out in New York now, but where are you from, and how did that environment affect the way you write your stories?
Yeah, no, I was born and raised here. Yeah, so right now I'm living in the Bronx with my wife, but we don't live far from when I was born. I was born in Washington Heights in Manhattan. I disassociate myself from the rest of Manhattan except Harlem. It's Harlem and Uptown for me. If you guys read The Alien Heroes, that's what I'm trying to like showcase.
Yeah.
Hopefully with the next books, I'm trying to showcase more of that. But yeah, dude, I've always liked storytelling. Like I forget, I was talking to someone recently, like growing up, I didn't have cable, so I was like watching PBS, watching Between the Lines, Arthur, Barney, Sesame Street, and then when I got older, I started to delve into the kids WB. I saw the Supermans, I saw the Batmans, and then Gargoyles, and then Fox Kids was Spider-Man, Classics, X-Men, and Power Rangers and all that stuff. So I just always liked storytelling. And that's another thing too. When I was younger, like I remember this, like I think I call it the before being aware. I used to get up and go to my parents' room, and they're adults. And we know how it is now. They're adults. They just want to sleep and they want to stay in. It's a Saturday morning. They would just put me in front of the TV. So like today's version would be just putting an iPad in front of a kid.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
So I just always loved it. And I think is when I got to like 6th grade, I remember we had this one assignment. I wrote a story. I forget what it was about. It was just about like leprechauns or whatever. But I thought it was dope. I painted like a cover for it, and I wrote it into a script. It was really cool. And in my mind's eye, I was like, oh, this is like what movies do. And then I think I didn't pick up, and I still liked watching stuff. I got into anime like 7th grade. I like got into anime, got heavy into that. And then high school, where I still didn't know what I wanted to do. I just always liked storytelling. And then that's when like my English professors or teachers were like getting into the nitty gritty of what does this mean in like our stories. When you read the Romeo and Juliet, the Macbeths, all those stuff, and you're like, oh, what does this mean? I was like, oh wait, we got to think about these things when we're reading them. So it really opened my mind on that. So then I think it's college when I thought I was going to do computer science. People were ahead of me when it came to computer science. So I pivoted towards like mass communications. I was like, let me just focus on journalism, which doesn't necessarily mean I was going to be a journalist, but just get the degree for radio, TV, and journalism just to have that degree, which looking back at it, I honestly, if I knew I was going to do this, I probably didn't need the degree, but you know what? Everything happens for a reason. I got my loans, but luckily I'm chipping away at it. And
don't we all?
Right? So right now I'm just like, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be a writer. I solidified. I'm like, I want to be. So basically, my ultimate dream is to be a writer director. So I got out of school in 2015, and I think for a year I was working as a doorman. So I would spend my time reading at the door. So I'm like, that's all I can do. But at the time, before Black Sands, Godhood Comics, all these other like big major Black publishing companies, before them, my mind was like, oh, I would like to write comics, but my thought was like, oh, damn, I gotta get into DC or Marvel, or I gotta somehow prove myself. But there's just no way in for us. Not just Black people, but anyone that just wants to get into comics. A lot of these writers, they're lawyers. They work for the CIA. They're English professors. It's crazy. There's no way to get into comics unless you have stuff to show. I spent my year, and then I started working at the Apple store. So pay raise. So I started working at Apple. I worked full time, and then I realized, and this is when 2020 hit. I'm giving you like the speed run of my life right now.
No, that's cool, man.
So then before, I think it was like 2017. So 2 years later, my mom got sick, and then that's when I like got depressed. I was like, damn, like I'm a kid from Washington Heights. You feel like you're just not gonna do anything because it's just that's it. Like I went to college, I'm working, I got debt, like there's nothing else to do. My dreams don't matter because no one cares. Yeah. So then I remember I spent that summer. It was that summer of 2017, and I think Ninja Turtles, the 2012 version was still playing. So I was like, you know what? I want to write a spec script. So I wrote a spec script, a comic book spec script. And then so again, I love Ninja Turtles. Like can I curse on here? Like I love that shit. So I wrote 6 issues, and then I read it to my best friend. I remember I went to go see him. He was still living up here in the Bronx. I went to go see him. He was like playing video games, and he's like super wired, like not wired. He's super focused on like playing his video. I was telling him the story. He like paused the game. He's like, dude, you wrote this? I was like, yeah, I wrote this. He was like, and he knew I was like, he knows I'm a writer, but it's just like, for him to hear this story, he was like, yo, that's freaking dope. Like that needs to be published. And I was like, and I'm like, he could have said it like he was my best friend, but he likes my writing. He's asked me one time in college, like he wanted me to write something for him. And I was like, that meant a lot at the time, but I was like, I didn't know I was going to want to write. But then I think, so my birthday is in September. So I found the artist who did My Brother Teddy. So I have my book here. So
hey,
awesome, man. I love that.
The artist is really dope. His name is Todor. He is from Bulgaria. I don't know how I reached out to him. I reached out to him somehow, and then I was like, hey, can you draw these 5 pictures for me of the Ninja Turtles? The Ninja Turtles, the 4 brothers, and Master Splinter. I was like, can you do this for me? And then he does it. And I was just like, this is amazing. When we're off air, I'll definitely send it to you guys so you can just check it out.
Yeah, man.
Cool.
He does it, and then I was like, dude, if I can. That's when I wrote Napoleon the Machine as well. I wrote Napoleon the Machine after the Ninja Turtles because I was like, if I can do this, I can write my. So I put all my depression and grief into paper. I was like, let me write Napoleon from the Machine. It took me like 2 months to write all those, and then I went to like workshops for them. I was like, yo, let's try to like get this thing going. And then, man, this is 20.
Oh, I think
Yeah,
you turned your.
Yeah, it keeps doing it. I don't know why. But anyway, I wrote this in 2017, and I just published this back in March. Or self-published it in March. So I was really happy to get this out there. Yeah. And then pandemic, fast forward, pandemic starting before. So it's like early 2020. I hit up the same artist, Todor. By the way, he's the artist that does the Stranger Things comics. So
wow.
So if you're like a big Stranger Things fan, and
I've seen those.
Yeah, that's him. That's him doing that art.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So he's now I don't have time, and then the world's like, yo, let's do lockdown. And he was like, he hit me back up. He's like, yo, we can do this. Let me see the script for My Brother Teddy. It wasn't even called My Brother Teddy at the time, so it was just like I forget what it was called. It was like My Brother, like the teddy bear or something like that. And he was like, yo, let's do it. So we started working on it, and then from there, that's when I started to learn about, I can make my own book. Then I started to just focus on making my own book. So I still didn't find this community yet, because there's a community out there of just creators, and I'm happy to be a part of it. One of them, I consider him my mentor, but he says we're peers. I actually wrote a thing for him, but I won't get into that because that hasn't come out yet, so I can't spoil stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, we got My Brother Teddy done, and at the end of it, I was just like, I don't want it to just be a picture book. And that's when I was like, I hit up my best friend. I was like, yo, should I do a soundtrack to this? And he was like, dude, you should do that. I think that would be dope. And the idea came from when back in the day in your library, you had the cassette tape with the storybook.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
Yes.
So yeah, I got that out, and I self-published it in 2021, and then in 2022, that's when I got it published with Source Point Press, which they're like out in the Midwest. So it was really dope. Like, popular comic book store here in New York is called Midtown Comics.
I love that.
I know Midtown.
So to be able to walk in there and see my book there was just,
I know that.
I was happy. It was great. And I bought myself a book. Honestly, I just like sold out the first week, so I couldn't even get my book. Like, literally, like the week later, I went to another spot called Forbidden Planet, and I went. There was like the last 2 copies. I bought the book. My friend bought the book, and I was like, I'm gonna just hold on to this. So like this is like the copy that I went and got.
Nice.
So, yeah, and a lot of people dug it, and yeah, like that was the beginning of it all. Like, people liking it, people crying. I didn't expect people to cry. Like, people like, yo, I cried reading this. I was like, did not expect that. That kind of reaffirms that, like, I always have this imposter syndrome, and I'm sure a lot of writers do. It still happens to me. So I'm just like, that reaffirms like, like I can write. I just always think I'm not a good writer. But again, it's, you go say it, Chad, like, I just write the things that I like.
Yeah,
exactly. And just a quick side note too, it's actually super duper like funny, and the irony is there that you actually hit me up, because I think maybe a month prior, and I forgot about it, and I was looking for the creator of My Brother Teddy, because I remember Marcus put it, we have a group chat. And this is like literally where all the magic happens, where like they hit me up, they're like, hey, we need to talk to this person, we need to talk to that person, and Marcus put that comic in the chat, and I was just like, this is super. And I'm just always doing 13 different things. Yeah, and because of me, I'm often over there, I'm always doing 13 different things. I was like, this is sick. And then I went over and did something else, and it just came right back around. So it was crazy that you hit me, because I told Marcus immediately, I was like, yo, dude, this is insane. We're literally going to have the creator of it.
And it's really tripping me out hearing your story, bro, because it's almost parallel to like how I went about. I got into storytelling around 6th grade. I was doing little comics and stuff in class. And I remember I used to write little stories and stuff like that. And then it was my English teacher in high school who told me like, hey, if you really apply yourself, you actually a good writer if you take it serious. And I didn't think nothing about it until, like you said, like I got to college. I went to college to do art. That was my major. And then I flipped it and did film and minored in art. And then when I got to Georgia State, I took what was it? What was the class? I forget what it. Dramatic writing class. And that's when everything started to come together. And I was like you said, I was like, oh, I'm actually good at this, just a little bit. I thought I could just knew how to do it. And then, just like how you said, you went to your friend. I used to, before I met Dmitri, me and Chad, we worked together, and I used to always tell him like, hey, bro, I write stuff. And he was like, okay, just show me your stuff. So I was like, all right. So I would give him stuff. And I was like, what you think, bro? I was like, I want you to be perfectly honest with me. Don't tell me as my friend. Tell me as somebody who like reading this and what you like about it. And he was like, dude, first of all, he said, did you write this? I was like, yeah, bro. He's because it was like really good. And I was like, okay. I was like, cool. It's cool to hear like that journey from somebody else and you can relate to that because that's really how it goes. You don't honestly think you're good enough to do it until you actually start like hearing the feedback from people, or you'll be writing yourself and you'll read a line you write. You be like, damn, I just wrote that. It's like self-assuring, but man, big ups to you just period for taking that journey, man, because I'm trying to follow right behind you. So I'm trying to catch up with you, bro. So I gotta take my hat off to you.
I feel like I'm nowhere near where I should be, but a lot of people say I am. And the guy I mentioned earlier, his name is Brian D. Covington, which Demetrius, I'm jealous because his middle name is D and he doesn't watch One Piece. So but he has his own books. And if people create stuff, the cool thing about us, especially anyone of color, definitely just raise everyone up. Just raise everyone up so we can just because look, I'm not like anti-white, but it's just there's too many white cooks in the kitchen, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so, we need some brothers and sisters in there, man.
We need some like flavor. We need a little hot sauce, adobo, like we need all that stuff.
Come on now.
So man, he really loved he actually got my self-published. So this was through Amazon, and every time he shouts me out, like whenever he does a live and I hop in, he's I gotta shout him out. Like he gives me so much praise, and it's so weird to get that praise because again, I've never gotten that type of thing, and I'm happy that he really dug the book. Some people may not like it, a lot of people did, and that's what kind of again reaffirms my skill set, as you would say. But and then I met him, and then a lot of people, I've looked at their stories, as you said, Marcus, a lot of people had similar backgrounds. For me, I didn't write as much when I was younger. I daydreamed a lot. Like I spent my time daydreaming. So I always pretended I was like I was a B+ student. That's what I was saying. I was like, love daydreaming. If I wasn't a daydreamer, I probably would have done a lot better in school. But I knew I was intelligent. I think I just knew I was better than the institution. But I just spent my time daydreaming. And then in that time that I was spent as a doorman after college, I wrote in there. Like in high school, I still have my high school notebook where I wrote like a story, like some story. I was actually writing. So for class, every day we had to write like anything. So I'm like, I didn't have anything to write. So I would just write episodes from the anime Bleach. So I'll just write the summary. So I was like, I'm not gonna fail this class. So I just wrote the Bleach summaries every day. But
that's amazing.
Yeah, so I just stopped doing that, and then that's when I started writing like random stories. Then I stopped doing that, and then when I became a doorman after college, I had my high school book and I carried my notebook with me all the time. I had to glue it together because it's like one of those the Mead notebooks. So it's like falling apart. So I had to glue the seams and make sure it doesn't rip apart. I wrote one of my future comic book stories in there. So I wrote the first six issues for him, but it's supposed to be my long form story, but it's in that notebook. And then I just have random ideas in there. And then, like right now I haven't written in a long time because I'm just trying to promote like all these books that I have here.
Just one thing though, and I love how you skated past it like you didn't just say that. Did you pass a class by writing the cliff notes from an anime and submitting
In
it?
a sense,
That's what
in a
you just
sense.
said.
Yeah, yes, in a sense. So we had like our regular. It was like an English class. We had our regular English class, but she was like a sweet old lady, but like kind of tough. It was every day. Like that was just part of our day, and then she would grab all our notebooks and then read through them. So read for that, and then she would grade it, and I would get A's in them because she would think I was writing these, and I'm like, I'd be like these summaries. But then at some point I stopped, so I was like, I didn't feel guilty. I just was like, oh, I'm just gonna stop writing these.
There you go.
And then
No, that's baller.
I wish I would have thought of that.
I did that. I did the same thing in my senior year in high school. My English teacher, I think she asked us just to do a warm up. She's like, "Yeah, I need y'all to write something and convince me that it's a story I would watch or something I would watch or read." I just gave her the summary of Star Wars Episode 3 because that was the first thing that came to mind, and I literally just told her what happened from beginning to end, and I got on it. So
that's great.
I know, right? It's like you can do that, and if you're good enough with it, then you can get away with it.
It's crazy. So that was my freshman like teacher. So she was like old. So it's like she was not gonna know what anime was. So.
Yeah, and that's how a lot of them are.
Like, they don't know. Like Star Wars is a little bit stretching. Like she could have known, but
not to say.
I was lucky. I was so lucky because she was my like old school literature. So she was into like a lot of literature. And I was like, I hope she doesn't connect this because George Lucas is into all of that mythology and stuff. I said, I hope she doesn't make a connection. And I was like, yeah, because Anakin did this and that. And I was like, maybe if I use the names enough, she won't make the connection. Because I knew she didn't know what Star Wars was.
Okay.
I figured she would try to connect it to Odyssey or something like that. Because we was reading stuff like Beowulf and all that.
Okay.
So I was like, if she don't make that connection, I think I'll be all right.
You golden.
Look, I'm golden. I gotta thank
I love how we all just ain't shit. I love how we just all ain't.
Hey man, look. Yo, shout out to Miss Jackson. God rest her soul. She not with us anymore, but hey, she helped me become a writer. So I gotta give her props.
No, man, that's what's up though. That's lit. Mine isn't like exactly the same, but I did have an old teacher back in like this was like middle school right before I graduated. And we had to come up with I haven't thought of this in years, but we had to come up with some kind of political rap or some kind of rap we had to do. And I didn't do my work, but I did, however, know a certain Snoop Dogg song verbatim at the time. And I just got in front of class and rapped it verbatim and switched out the curse words with whatever. And
what Snoop Dogg song was it, bro?
It was from
wow.
It wasn't like a popular song on the radio. It was from a video game. I think it was from
F Jam or something like that.
It was from Need for Speed.
I think I know what song you're talking about.
Oh, wow. It was that Riders in the Storm. That Riders in the Storm, like that rap he did on
that main theme. Boy, you are crazy.
I passed though.
Wow, that's
good.
Tell
you right now, you had some balls to do that.
You really did,
bro.
Man.
That crazy. It was lit. The whole class was lit because they knew what I was doing. The teacher didn't know. She had no idea. She was just like, she was right, exactly. She was like, "Oh, that is so good, Chad. That is." I'm like, "Thank you."
That is funny. I gotta tell my kids that story one day.
Yeah,
that's great.
Shout out Snoop Dogg for sure. But
but
nah, man. But what you said, Jaromir, was sorry. But
I can picture it in my head.
Bro, that's why I keep laughing. Like I can picture his little badass doing that. Like.
I haven't. I swear to y'all, I haven't thought of that in years, man. I haven't thought of that in years.
That's funny.
But
you got
I needed that.
Oh my god.
Oh goodness. No, the class was lit. That was my shout out, Miss Rickett. That was Miss Rickett's class. So it was lit. But one thing that you said, Jaromir, that kind of leads into the next question, because we were just talking about media and, like you said, how there was a bunch of white chefs in the kitchen. Of course, a lot of your stories represent and show Black characters, not even just Black characters, but minorities in general, Spanish characters. I just wanted to know specifically for you, what does it mean to have, and what is the importance of having Black minority representation in areas like sci-fi, comics, all of these, even horror. Like, what does that mean to you as a writer and a creator?
I would say it's simple. It's just like realistic. A lot of people the internet is you know, a savage when like you will hear people say we got to get rid of BET, and then people say yeah that's true, or people say no you shouldn't do that. When I'll watch like BET for like reruns and stuff, but then when I see like the new content that Tyler Perry's putting in, it's all black characters, which I get why he's doing that, but at the same time it's just not realistic in a sense.
There you go.
Because there's certain spaces where there's no space where there's just all white people. There's no space where it's just, unless it's like a neighborhood, like it's a neighborhood area. I'm like, I get that. But when I go to Brooklyn, I don't expect to see a group of white people just living in Brooklyn like Friends. You would not see these people living
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's just the realism of it. Like even in sci-fi, for the longest time, we had for the original 6 Star Wars movies, we only had 2 black people. It was Lando and Mace.
For a long time, yeah. And then we got left to 4, I think.
Yeah, because we got Saw Gerrera.
Yeah, but even that's not. Oh no, you got this girl from Obi-Wan, the Inquisitor.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
and Finn. But then I think in such a vast, huge world or universe or galaxy, there needs to be more people of color. And it doesn't just have to be black people. It has to be realistic enough where everyone's there. And I think white people need to stop talking British in Star Wars, because that's something I picked up. Like there's this thing. Like went off again. Not to go on a tangent. British actors are hired to do American movies because they're supposed to be like black excellence because they're British. But there are a lot of good actors here. You just need to find them.
Yeah.
Well, I love Idris Elba and I love John Boyega, but it's like there are a lot of people here that need to. And if it's not that, it's Michael B. Jordan. So it's
we go straight on the mic.
But no, to kind of it's just realism. Like when I look at this, it's just this is the Alien Heroes for anyone watching. This is my main character here, and then
I like that character.
I don't know if you picked up. So if you guys read this, this doesn't have any dialogue, because initially it was supposed to be. I was gonna get into animation, but animation costs money, and because of My Brother Teddy, I was like,
tell me about it.
Say that again.
No, it's just tell me about it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, like it's a lot. After My Brother Teddy, I was like, I can do comic books. I can turn my storyboard into this. And then, so when I look at these characters, I got this Martian who's basically, he's not black, but he is a Martian that I want to have him shapeshift into a black character. So it is important to see that. And then I have the other kid who's just a boy genius. I don't see a lot of black boy geniuses. Can't think one off the top of my head besides like Mr. Terrific from DC, but
and like Wade from Kim Possible, I think.
Yeah, like it's so small. And then I have this kid here, Logan. One thing that I want to explore. So if you read the issue 0, his stepfather is black. I've never seen a black father figure adopting a white kid. So that's something I want to explore. And then I have my Hispanic, she's Dominican character Ima here. So it's just realistic. And then I also want to just show love to the uptown of New York, because in a lot of media and video games, uptown New York doesn't get a lot of love. So it's just, that's the type of story I want to tell so I'm Haitian, so I just want to throw that in there as well when it comes to the Martian history.
Yeah, I will say one thing. I love that story. I love him being a shapeshifter was so cool. I was just hooked on that. Wow. I read the not issue 0, but I think it was the first issue.
Yeah,
and it's really good. I was telling Chad, I was like, I love the main dude. He's super cool. And it was something that at first I didn't like, because I was reading it, and then like he did the thing where he had multiple hands. And I just thought that was just like you just talking him doing multiple different things, and I like looked at it and I'm like, oh no, he's
right.
Got, like,
I thought the same thing. Yeah,
that was super cool. I like that. I just really vibed with it. So, and then the colors you used were amazing. Those colors
that's
cool.
Thanks to the artist. He's really dope. He lives here in New York in Long Island. Dude, knocked it out of the park. Like if you looked at the issue 0, you can see the iterations of what I was going through. Like I had this idea since 2015, and I've pitched to Nickelodeon a couple times and they passed on it, but what was great is that they gave me great feedback. And the most awesome thing about them is I pitched to, there's 3 of them, they were the heads of the executives at Nickelodeon, they're all black, and I felt comfortable talking to them, so it was like really dope. And I had that direct line with them. Not saying this will be on Nickelodeon one day, but hey, if I pitch to another channel or the streaming service, I have something. And that's what the Alien Heroes is. It's gonna be a 5-issue comic, and just wanted to be a proof of concept just to show that to people. And and I just want people to like love these characters as much as I do. These characters have been sitting in my head for so long, so I was just like, look,
That's how it is.
At one day, look, I would love to get money from this, but I know it's not gonna happen right away. But I just want to get it out there. Like, I was just so happy that My Brother Teddy existed. Like, I would reread My Brother Teddy, and I can die tomorrow and it's still here. Like, people can pick it up. I even Google it. I'll Google it. I'll look on eBay. Like, it's there. Like, it's dope to see it there. So
no, it is. It's really awesome.
And then I just want to do something different. Like, I just put a freaking soundtrack in there for people to enjoy.
I was just about to go there. I'm just like, bro, as far as like the thing with like My Brother Teddy, like number one, the scope of the art direction is just amazing. Number one, I got so many things I wanted to ask you about that comic in general. Number one, why did you decide to make it more of a visual and auditory experience rather than having dialogue? And man, like, how did you get in touch with, what was her name? Is it Lauren Brianna Ware?
Oh, Lauren Brianna Ware.
Oh, how did that happen?
So to answer your first 2 questions, again, like, it's like that thing where when it came to the old days where, you know, when white people they gave their scraps to black people, and black people made like something amazing with the food. For me, it was just financially, I didn't have them. I wanted to tell a longer story from My Brother Teddy, but I didn't have the money. So I was like, let me say something with this story. And that's what I always tell people. Like, you have to have something to say, especially at the end of it. It says reclaiming. It can mean anything for anyone. Like, reclaim who you are, reclaim what's lost, reclaim what's owed to you, it could be anything. And it was just, I was working in my budget. Comics is not cheap, but it's also more affordable than doing a movie or doing animation. But it still helps it's a good gateway to get yourself out there. But the reason, and then that's another thing, I didn't hear anything when I was writing the story. I just saw, I can see things in panels. So I think that's why if I were to do a movie, I can play the movie in my head, but some people can see a movie where I can just see snapshots. So I'm really good at seeing snapshots. So I can just write that down. And then the artist was like, dude, you don't hold me down. That's another thing. I like to give artists full reign on everything. And he's like, you don't hold me down on anything. Your words are very vague, but I get what you're saying. And he does it. And then your last question, Brianna. So one of my friends, she's in France right now. She's an opera singer. She's from Wisconsin. So she connected me with Lauren Brianna Ware. And I heard her stuff, but I was like, can you give me like a sample of something? Because all she's done was like classical stuff for her job. She's a teacher or a professor. So like, I went to her website. She doesn't have anything outside of that. So she was stoked to do it because she was just like, I've never done anything like this, because that would be dope to flex those muscles. And she shows me a sample. I was like, oh, it's dope. And then I give her, like, for each page, I was like, this is what I want to hear. I gave her samples. I gave her sounds and things I want to hear. And then she just does it. I don't think I've ever had to correct her, or not correct her, but change anything or edit anything.
Yeah.
And she just did it. She just did the thing. And it was just great.
Me just being a music nerd, man, I loved every second of it. You put me on for sure. Like, when you said when we were messaging back and forth, and you were like, yeah, man, if you're gonna read it, you might as well listen to the soundtrack. I'm like, a soundtrack?
Yeah, it's a must. It's a must. Yeah, you can't not take it in.
No, and it really, the thing that I love about it is how it perfectly matches the tone of what you're trying to convey. Like, it goes back and forth between kind of this dream setting, and then a childhood innocence kind of setting, and then it goes to this huge like energy and like a dynamic sounds to go with like the battles and all of that good stuff, and it all just comes together in a nice package. I'm a sucker for piano, man, so at the end of the day, one of my favorites is Monsters Don't Come From Under the Bed. Like, I love
that's
that.
my
Like
favorite
that.
one.
It's
my favorite.
really, oh yeah, it's awesome, right?
Yeah,
It's sick.
If you go on, so it's available on all streaming services, so you can just play that on repeat. I remember when she gave me the rough cut of it, I would go to bed listening to it, looking at the first page, just looking back and forth. It's just great. That's my favorite one.
It's awesome. No, that's awesome because I couldn't stop listening to it. I got the free version of Spotify. Fortunately, I couldn't go back around. I had to wait for the commercial and play it all the way through again. It's all good though. We're here. So, but no, it was definitely awesome. And another thing, do you see yourself? Because just looking at some of your other works, do you see yourself making a kind of a soundtrack companion to anything else in the future?
So as of now, I feel like that's my thing. So when my brother Teddy was like, I had to have it because I just didn't want to sell a picture book, and the music brings the pictures out of there, like it literally gets in your mind. And I'm just saying these words for the first time. But then for Alien Heroes, this cover, my boy made this a while back, and I was like, you know what? I have these sitting in my hard drive collecting dust. Let's just pop it in there. And then when I made issue 1, which I didn't really show this to, this is issue 1. You're gonna see it with the Arizona can there.
There you go.
The color palette was so awesome.
And he's holding a bacon, egg, and cheese because that's like my thing. I like bacon and cheese. Like I have to have it every day.
It's
or
the
turkey
best.
bacon. Or turkey and bacon. I have to be healthy. Now, when it comes to Napoleon from the Machine, which is the one I wrote back in 2017, there we go.
That's it.
I was thinking about making a soundtrack, but I was like, I do have a playlist of sounds that I like from issue 1 to 6. So this is going to be a total of 6 issues. I was going to make a soundtrack after I finish all 6. So whenever that time comes. And then there are people that I've tapped out. Lauren is down to do it. Do you know that show Final Space?
Yeah, of course.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard of it.
So like I've been following Olin Rogers since I was in college. I followed all his works. Love that guy. He tweeted, I think he liked one of my tweets one time. I was super high on that. So the music that was on Final Space was done by a woman named Shelby Murray. And I didn't know it was her until one time I've heard a sound. I heard her music. Like it was like a sample. And I was like, oh, this sounds dope. I didn't know it was her because it was like some other page that posted like a vignette of or a loop. And then one time it just all connects. Like things how work out. It just all connects. I remember I was like, oh, Shelby Murray does this. Then I realized she did this. And I was like, oh my God, Shelby Murray, this. I reached out to her. She friended me back. And I was like, hey, I would like to have one of your songs on here. Either creating a new one or there's one track that I really like that she created. And I think it would fit perfectly in one scene. She hasn't responded to that specifically, but we're still friends on IG. So I'll probably hit her up when I finish all of them. Because I don't want to keep like poking the bear and annoying her.
Hey, you got all the positive energy coming from the Square Round Table. We're gonna put that out in the universe for you.
We're gonna throw it on out
right there.
Let it simmer a little bit.
Oh yeah, but we know you're doing a big push because like when we're talking, I think you have another issue of Napoleon from the Machine coming out.
Yeah, currently working on that. So just to say it looks very familiar, but this artist is not the same artist as this.
Okay.
Funny enough, they're both from Bulgaria. It's a small community because they all know each other. So the colorist who did this, she's great. Her colors are great. I don't think I would ever go to anyone else for colors. Nice. She is married to this guy who did the drawings for this. But their style is different because their style is similar because they like specific artists. I believe is an artist named Mike Mignola. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. But their styles are similar. So me and Constantine, that's the artist's name, we just chatted up every week, just creating more pages. He actually was able to give me the first page today. And I just keep pushing it through Kickstarter, trying to get people to like pitch in like anything or even share it. And one thing I stress for people listening, Kickstarter doesn't just take your money. It does take it if I reach my goal. So it's not like people think that they give money and then it's like it's already there. So I always reiterate that. But yeah, I don't, all these books that I've created here, they look amazing together just in my having it there. It was all out of pocket. It was all out of pocket.
Wow.
So I can't do that again because I can't afford to do that. I gotta pay the rent. I got a life to build here. So that's why I'm doing my Kickstarter. This is my second Kickstarter. First time it failed. But this Kickstarter, I feel like I will reach it and like I can get book 2 done, and then hopefully work on issue 2 of the Alien Heroes in probably a couple months. But it's just timing.
Oh yeah, timing is everything. But of course, we're you guys, man. We'll push it out there too and let all of our viewers and listeners know. So it's no problem, man. We love sharing like fantastic work, and that's definitely what you've been doing. And as far as your story, I don't want to give too much away, but it's very layered. So I wanted to know where the idea from Napoleon from the Machine came from, because just reading the book, I'm like, okay, like you said, the story deals with depression. The story deals with a surprising death quite early on. The story deals with art. And I wonder, I'm like, does Napoleon know what's going on quite yet? I don't know. And I don't want to give too much away. So because I want our viewers and listeners to read it. But
no, yeah, for sure. I'll say as much as I can. I always say the story, like I always give the summary out. So I went to my first con like a couple months ago, so that felt really good. So the pitch that I would say, it's about a depressed artist that needs to save the world by using his ability to draw things that manifest into real life. He does knows what's going on to a certain degree. He's just been depressed because his wife had passed 4 years prior. We don't know that his wife passed. We just know that he's drawing a woman in issue 1. I get into that in like the beginning of the next book. And then I follow this kind of monomyth where it's I get into the story and then I do one issue where it's just a whole flashback. That would be in issue 3. But yeah, and to answer your question, like how I came about, like again, this was when I was like depressed. So I think I put it on my Kickstarter. It started because my mom was sick. She was just chilling in the living room. I just popped, my boy lent me Spider-Man 2. It was Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. And it was just like a scene where Aunt May is talking to Peter, and it was about getting back up on that horse. Because it's after he lost his powers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in that same place. I'm like just depressed, defeated, like, all right, I'm just not going to do what I wanted to do ever. And then that's where it clicked for me. I was like, you know what? I just got to get the hell up. I just got to figure it out. I just got to believe that my mom is going to be fine. Like she's fine now. Like she does dialysis. So she's still alive. Like I was like, I just got to get things going. And then that's when like my best friend's name on his tag on IG is called Loose Leaf Hero. So I was like, I'm going to steal that. and I was like, yo, what if someone could draw things and comes to life? And if you ever read the classic Ninja Turtles or seen the 2003 version, depending on what episode, there's an episode wwhere Donatello meets Kirby, who is based off Jack Kirby. Yes, and this just kept cutting out. He has a pencil that has a gem at the end of it. When he draws, things just come to life. So I was just like, why not just give Napoleon this ability? And the reason I chose Napoleon, because I always liked that name when I was younger. And then as I got older, I realized Napoleon is a terrible person in history. But he had a dope
not
quote.
A great guy. No.
Yeah, he definitely not a great guy. But he had a dope quote that I like. It's not verbatim, but it's basically when you fall off that horse, you get back up. And I like that idea or that quote. So I chose the name Napoleon. So it has nothing to do with the emperor. It was just more of me liking the name and liking the quote. And that's when I just started writing. And I was just like, let me just start drawing this thing. So I started from a depressive state. So I was like, this dude is depressed. And then this was so long story short, my wife now, I met her in 2017. We drifted apart at the time. So I was like, I'm here thinking I'm losing my mom and I can't even be with a girl. So I was like, I didn't know where my feelings were. So I just was like, I'm not going to meet anyone. Like that was just like super depressed. So that's how like the beginning of this story started. And I was like, all right, I got to create a villain. I was like, I don't want to just create a random villain because that seems kind of corny. So I was like, let me make it an organization. Then I realized this organization stems from this fear of Scientologists. So if you guys know Scientology, they're very creepy to me.
As hell.
Yeah,
They creepy as hell.
So this is a point in the future where Scientologists banded together and then became like Hydra, but in the entire planet. But in issue 1, you don't really see it, but they do talk about it in the news. I'm a really big fan of the 80s comics, or not 80s comics. 80s, you can say 80s, because RoboCop had the same thing with like media. There was always media on the screen. It's like the Reagan era. So and in
there you go.
Dark Knight Returns, same thing. It's just media on the screen. So I like every time there's media to just inform the reader, like this is what's happening behind the scenes. So in one of the panels, there's like a map of the characters, or not the character, the army, or this terrorist group coming to the Western Hemisphere. But the only people that aren't affected is, I believe, Canada and the US. They're just like making their way in. And I think I would say it's not really a spoiler, but there is insurgency as well. You see it at the end, but not really. But you'll see more of that in the next book.
Okay. Yeah, we're definitely excited for that, man. We definitely can't wait, and we're going to tell. No, that was perfect, man. We love it when we get like big explanations. Like I'll be honest, like the worst like fear of mine, and thank God we have not ever had that. It's just like the one word answers. Like we guessed, like we were like, hey, what's going on with this? And they're like, yeah, good. And they just like, I'm just, whoo, that's a podcast killer right there, man. So no, you're
like, you don't want that dead air. You don't want that dead air.
Oh my gosh, dude, that is the worst. That is the worst ever. But no, man, that's awesome. So as far as everything with your Kickstarter, for sure, just share it with us, man. We'll let all of our viewers and listeners know. So no problem at all. We're definitely happy to share. Oh, of course. Definitely. So one of the things we got to have our nerd talk, man. It was promised, so we got to do it. One of the things I wanted to break out on. So we were talking about, and I'm piggybacking on two things here, because I was watching another podcast, one with Carl Jones, and somebody asked him a really cool question. And I didn't really think about it until then. I was just like, wow, I wonder what that would be like. So with a lot of the media that's going on right now, and like you were saying, a lot of the white chefs in the kitchen, what property or cartoon or live action would you have liked to have seen a Black creator make? Like, what property or what universe would you have liked to see through a Black lens or a minority lens? For me, it's Lord of the Rings. I would love it if Lord of the Rings like took place in Africa. That would have been insane.
Oh, that would definitely have been insane.
Oh yeah,
that's a tough question, man. But I would probably say Justice League. That kind of, I can say Justice League and or Avengers, because they're both like these top tier teams on both sides.
Yeah,
but yeah, I would say those two teams just to see how that would work.
I would like that. I would definitely. So you got, and I'm trying to think, in Justice League, we would have a lot of it would have to, as far as the Batman is concerned, I would love to see that team up between, oh my gosh, what's his name? Batwing and what is it? Jace? Is it Jace Fox?
Yeah,
that
Jace
would
Fox.
be. Yeah, which is one of the current Batman, I think, in the.
Oh yeah, that's
the Future State one, right?
Yeah.
It's the Future State.
Yeah, Future State Batman.
Imagine that Batman and Robin dynamic.
I haven't really been reading a lot. I've been like, oh, I know what's going on, but I'm like, I don't know. I stopped
same here.
reading because it's just the same stuff, and then I'm like, I rather just create my own things now. Because it's like, I'll collect, like, I just collected the issue 1 of one of the Black labels of DC, because it's going to be a short series. So I'm like, I might well collect it. But yeah, you say it that way. I thought the question, unless the question falls in the way, is you said through the Black lens of a Black writer. So I'm thinking, like, if someone was writing Justice League or specifically Batman, and Zack Snyder kind of does this with Batman and BVS, it's just the brutality of Batman with poor people. Especially poor people in the hood or in urban areas. So it's like that I would like to see. But I guess with the Justice League or with Marvel, like go a little more grounded. and not doing these big world things when you can bring it back to Earth.
No, I like that. So yeah, you mean in a sense of like a less idealized world.
Because I think people need
like
that. Because I like Zack Snyder for who he is. He's an artist. For all the faults that he may have had, I think a lot of this comes to the people, the white people, and the white chefs in the kitchen, especially Suits. I hate Suits. They tampered with his stuff. So
They did.
He puts America's face to themselves with his movies, specifically. But I'm talking about like DC. Like he does it with BVS, and these people are just like, I don't want to see that. I want to live in a world where I'm just living in fantasy land. So not a lot of people like that. So I think if we did that with comics, I'm sure comic sales will drop. But hey, it's real.
Yeah, definitely. I would say. Oh no, I was just gonna say. I would say I would love to see somebody do the X-Men.
Yeah,
that's what I would like. I would like to see X-Men.
Yeah,
that I think that's easy too. Like you can do a lot with that with a black person. A black person like that. Yeah,
it's already almost there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's so close.
Yeah, it's still the ideologies of Professor X and Magneto stem from Dr. King and Malcolm X. So it's like it's perfect. It's perfect. It's perfect. I would love because I don't really think a black person has ever really wrote for X-Men or directed a movie or anything. So that's why I would love to see it because that's one of like my favorite like storylines of like superhero teams.
Yeah,
it's like the X-Men because it's so relatable. It's like they just saved you from dying, but you don't like them because they're different from you.
They're other.
But they literally just saved your life. But it's like, oh, I thank you, but don't touch me because I don't want to catch what you got, or I don't want to be a mutant. I always enjoy that kind of idea of
that
like,
kind of dynamic.
Basically was like a way of talking about racism without using the harshness of like certain words and certain things, but letting this is a problem that's going on in the country that's real because the comics came out in the 60s, so it was dressing like civil rights movement and all that stuff. So that's why I was like, it would be so dope for a black person because you can agree with this, man, that they always either give them like the black characters or like the B team characters or something like that, and that's what they end up getting stuck with. But when it comes to like those heavy hitters and like the Spider-Mans and the Captain Americas and the Avengers, it's always those particular same guys, like the white shifts, and then sometimes the suits. So that's always been mine, no matter what. It's always gonna be X-Men.
Hey, I know that one thing. Darwin wouldn't have died like that in that movie if it was a black dude.
I'm telling you, bro.
He literally can't die in the comic books. He adapts.
I know movies tend to empower people, but he didn't have to die. He could have gotten wounded or something, but he didn't have to die. It followed the trope of killing the black guy first. It was like they didn't have to do that. That was like love the movie. Hated that. I love the
movie. Did you catch the line from what was his name? The main villain of that movie. I forget his name, but I think he said like a line
or Shaw.
I think he said like a line where he said like the enslaved or something, and the camera cut to like Dara.
There was no need to do that. Like, and that's the thing too. Like, for someone who wants to be a director, like you don't do stuff. So that's man blatant. It's like when you were sitting in class and they're talking about slavery, and then the kids look at you.
And they look at you. Yeah,
they look right at you.
Like I don't know about that. I wasn't around then.
Yeah, you know your people, and I was like, what? I don't know anything remotely to that.
It's like, bro, man, no, man, those days watching. I don't know how y'all schools did it, but we would have a 2-week time period where we would sit and watch Roots in class. My God,
I went to a Catholic school, so I've never seen Roots in my Catholic school. That was never.
Yeah, we watched it.
We watched Disney movies and whatever movies. And
what was it? My Friend Martin. Was that the movie?
I've seen My Friend Martin 1,000 times.
That's like here in Georgia, you can't be in a elementary school or any kind of school system, and it's predominantly black, and they don't show you that movie. That's like a requirement. You know, like they always show it.
Completely unrealistic, by the way, because like any writer can tell you, Black people don't need to be time traveling anywhere
Heck
unless it's the
no.
future.
No,
We gonna mess
I know,
everything.
and that's true.
Right.
That's why there's a lot of, and I'm happy that it's dying out. I'm a little mad that Will Smith still signed on to do the Emancipation. Is it Emancipation?
It was like that.
Yeah.
We don't need any more slave movies. I would love to. Craft Country, great show. Unfortunately, got canceled.
Yes.
I just want to
That's
see more
another
sci-fi
one.
horror.
Yeah.
Just give me more.
Yeah.
That's why, like, all my stories, like my brother Teddy has that like fantastical knight in shining armor kind of a thing. My Napoleon takes place in the future, but I want to have a little Dark Knight Returns meets like a little bit of Blade Runner, RoboCop thing. But it's just it. I don't want to be like. There was a time I remember I was walking through Comic-Con, and this was like years ago, so I didn't know any better. Like I judged the book by its cover, which you shouldn't. There was these old heads just having they had their own little booth at Comic-Con. It was just like on the cover was like dude with a gold chain, and I was just like, but they're old heads, so I think that's what they know. So I'm like, I was like, didn't even pay attention to it, but I remember seeing it, so that stuck with me. I wish at the time I picked it up. Maybe I would have learned something, like how they got into this role. I don't know. I would have spoken something. So that's like a minor regret I have. Nowadays, I'm sure there's a lot of creators creating their own things. Tyler Martin's the antagonist. That's different.
Yeah,
I've never really heard of that. There's a lot of people trying to get their stuff out there, and it's just you don't have to be writing what people expect, especially white people.
Yeah.
You don't have to like see that. You don't have to write that.
Yeah. And the thing that kills me about it sometimes, it gives off a kind of disingenuous kind of vibe, because some things I definitely understand that's okay to write about, but I don't know. At the end of the day, I feel like Marvel and DC a lot of the times, like they write stuff to hop on trends and
Oh
things
no,
like that.
they pander all the time. They pander.
Yeah.
I remember again, Captain America being my favorite character. People probably thought I meant it in a bad way. There was a gay character, who took the Captain America mantle, and then the thing was like, "Hey,
I
Captain
remember
America
that.
is gay now," and I was like, "No, Steve Rogers." And I started using the name. I'm like, Steve Rogers is not gay. He's still Captain America, because at the end of the day, Marvel's gonna bring him back.
Yep.
Just for Pride Month, they just made this character. I was like, why don't we just make original characters and just
That's what I always say.
Right.
But
We always say that.
So they're just never gonna do that. And if they do, when Batman died, Jim Gordon becomes Batman, I'm like, he's gonna come back. It's one of those things where things are never definite, and that's why when it comes to manga, sales are higher than comic books, which I think
I say that all the time.
comic books, if they decided to follow that model, forget One Piece. We look at like Naruto or Dragon Ball. It holds its own, where Spider-Man has so many titles where Spider-Man, anyone can pick up a Spider-Man book and will pick up a Spider-Man because it is Spider-Man.
It's just Spider-Man.
He can hold his own. What's a comic book? I'm trying to think of. Even Black Panther. I want to say before the movie, like before the first movie, I'm sure he could hold his own. But I think it's like you had consistent writing. Like now you're mixing them up with these events. Used to be like an event. Now events, these crossovers, they're not special.
Oh man,
they're really not.
Like
Because nothing holds weight.
Luffy doesn't need Goku to come to his world. Like he can hold its own.
Right.
Naruto will always hold its own. And look, don't get me wrong. Japanese manga, toy animation, like they have their problems when it comes to doing their thing. But if the comic books, Hollywood can just have faith in the product and then not do too many titles. Like, there's so many Batman comics. Like when it comes to comic books, Batman and Spider-Man are holding it up for both companies. So give me one book and let me follow that book.
Yeah, seriously. And I'm just like, and one little nitpick, I feel like Miles Morales shouldn't be every superhero. I was like, why are we getting the Miles Morales Wolverine, Miles Morales?
Oh, yeah, talking about the multiverse
that was
stuff?
the multiverse. Yeah, that was another thing. Look, Miles Morales was created because of Donald Glover, but created by this dude. Why am I forgetting his name? I always
Bendis.
Brian Michael Bendis. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, white dude. But look, I think it came out naturally. In my opinion, I remember it was my freshman year, so I got all issues.
Same.
And I dug it. It was very fresh. It felt genuine. I related. So I was like, all right, this is not pandering. Now, when you got And I'm sure you guys are aware when that Thor one came out.
Oh boy, we talked about it all the time.
Fade. Biotin Fade. I'm repping for my hood, right?
Yeah, when that one came out, I was like, who wrote this? It was a half Jewish, half Hispanic person. I was like, this is why we need more black people in the higher ups, like editors roles. What sucks is like the only black person I know in Marvel or DC is Tanahashi Coates, who is also a renowned writer. So he's able to write Black Panther. He also wrote Captain America. But why, like, that is dope that he wrote Captain America, but we should have more black people writing these roles. One of my coworkers knows a guy he's also black that writes a Superman comic, but it's not like one of the main titles. It was just like one of those smaller tier Superman titles. So it's no one's gonna know about that. And then I think that's another thing too. Like with DC, they're like, oh, there's an issue with police and police brutality or the system. Write about that. And that to me is pandering because it's like Superman caring about a black person going to jail for the wrong. It's just, I thought it was cool, but it's not cool at the same time because it's like that doesn't fit.
Well, it doesn't fit the narrative. It doesn't fit the narrative.
It does fit his character. He should care, but we should see that more often. For that one-off comic, it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
there was a Batman one that did the kind of similar thing where he's like flying over with him. There's some people down there. I forget what it is, but he has this whole dialogue about it. I'm not gonna stop him. He like swings over it, make sure he doesn't go down there to do it. Pretty much what he usually does, beating poor people.
Yeah,
just because of the statement.
Right.
Yeah, but I'm like, he does that all the time because most of these thugs or robbers or people that work for like henchmen, they're poor. The reason they work with the Joker is not because of choice. They
money.
Can't afford that. So he's definitely beating on these people, like almost an inch of their life. So
I would say probably this. They probably have better health plans in the.
It's funny. My one of my friends was like, "Yo, Gotham City or Raccoon City." I was like, you know what? Gotham City all day because you locked in Raccoon City.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's over with. Ain't no
at least Gotham City rent is like $50 a month. So
exactly. Every so often you hear the Joker laugh and stuff. You're like, oh, that's just a Joker. Okay, whatever. I'm just gonna duck her down, put my head over, and just go to sleep.
No, I'd rather any of that. I'll be honest, I'd rather both of those rather than being in Marvel's version of New York. Because my thing is, I ain't trying to be walking to work and get hit by a car.
You got kaiju's every day, aliens every day,
bruh.
Or the Hulk that throws your car.
Yeah, you shouldn't even have a car.
And misses. Exactly.
You know, that would get me tight. Yo, you use my car and miss? Nah.
Exactly.
It's like, at least they got insurance for that too.
Yeah, look,
they got Hulk insurance.
You sitting there eating a slice of pizza and Spider-Man steal your slice of pizza, man.
I'd be pissed.
He need to get his metabolism.
No, what else he does is to make you mad. He just gives you the change, the direct change for it on your.
That's disrespectful.
That's mad disrespectful. It's like, I don't want my money back. I wanted my slice that I was about to bite into, bro. No.
Why didn't you do that to the guy who sold the pizza? Why didn't you just take a piece off him?
Right.
Why you gotta do me like that?
Exactly. But yeah, man. But yeah, Jaromir, like one thing, man, that all of us at the Square Round Table want to let you know is that we're so proud of all the work that you're doing. Like I said, before you even hit me up, man, like we already knew about you. You got a lot of great things going on right here with your art, man, with your writing and your Kickstarter, and you got us behind you 100%, man. It's great work, so everybody's going to love it anyway. But you got our support 100%, and thank you so much, man, for coming out and just having a nerd chat with us for a little bit. We appreciate that.
No, thank you, man. I definitely would like to do it again, just when I get the other stuff out there, or even just talk shit.
You could just come back. I was like, you could just come back and talk with us, man. Anytime.
Just spend the whole 2 hours just talking about One Piece.
When they get caught up. When they get caught up on it.
I was about to say, you gotta wait for me and Marcus first before y'all do all that now.
No, for sure.
Yeah, we'll wait for you, dude. You got some time.
Okay, cool. But yeah, Jeremy, before we go, man, we want you to let all our viewers and listeners know, man, what you got going on. We know you're doing a huge campaign, man, for your Kickstarter. So let them know about all that, where they can find you on social media, show all 3 of your books, all of that good stuff. The floor is yours, man.
Yeah, I'll just say, all my social media is Sky_surfer. So that 117. So if you can find me on any social, TikTok, Facebook, you can just type my name in. I don't really use Facebook like that, but I'll be on there. Not really on Twitter because I don't tweet. That's not my thing. I'm Mike. Like my main hub is Instagram. Like it's visually there. I have the tools. And then yeah, just support. I also have variant covers too. So if you like variant covers, I got them. Just go to my website, which is on Gumroad. I don't remember the website verbatim, but it's on Gumroad. If you type in any of my books or my name, you'll find my stuff there. And then yeah, if you have dreams, just keep going for it. Like just
follow your dreams.
Like, no, yeah, like it may sound corny, but I met a dude like at a bookshop, and he was like, I think he just graduated college. I was like, yo, just start writing. I'm not a person who likes to post a lot, but I have to get uncomfortable doing it just to post up, show my face more, just so people know I'm like not a bot. Like it's just I'm not an AI doing this. Yeah. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Yeah, I have it. I don't know if you guys can see this, but I have his handle in the banner. So if you guys spelling for it, it's at the bottom of the banner for his Instagram and stuff like that. And we'll put his website and all that stuff. You can find it in the description down below. You know how we do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And with that being said, guys, it's been a long time since we did this, but guess what time it is?
It's time for that shameless promotional. You know it.
Hey man, I feel you with the vocals there, Marcus. I felt that, man. I
felt
that in my
right here.
I felt that in my heart, bro.
I couldn't hit y'all with the Barry White. That's for the ladies. You know what I'm saying? I had to give y'all a little something different. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's all good, bro. It's all good. But yes, guys, once again, it is time for our shameless promotional. And just like every week, guys, we are the Square Roundtable podcast, and you can find this episode as well as all of our other amazing episodes on our website, and that is squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com. And one more time, that is squareroundtablepod.fandomlim.com. The floor is yours, Demetrius.
He said he say it twice, but it's really good, really good.
There you go.
So you can find us on YouTube at the Square Roundtable Pod. If you like the video, hit the subscribe button, of course. Hit the like button. Leave us a comment about anything that we've talked about in this thing, whether it's One Piece, anything anime, any of his books, anything that you want to talk about, we'll be down there. And if you love the Death Note, and I always say this all the time, every time we bring it up, let me know. You're wrong, but let me know about it. Follow us on our socials, our Instagram, our Twitter, and that pesky, I'm sorry, it's not even Twitter anymore, it's X, whatever.
It's X.
Yeah, and that pesky Facebook group. Talk to us down there. And eventually we'll get to TikTok. We're working on it.
We're old. I don't know what TikTok is.
We're trying to figure out how to do that. So and follow him on his social and get his book. Like they're great books. And we expect we're looking forward to the next book that he puts out and whatever else he wants to do in the future. We will be watching.
Yes. We will be watching, guys.
The watchers.
Guys, so go get the books. We're the watchers. Go get the books. Go get the books. Go get the books. What are you doing? Get the books now. Go
now. Go
to the Kickstarter right now. We're going to link everything below. Go get the books. And with that being said, guys, this has been the Square Roundtable. I would love all of our wonderful guests to introduce themselves one more time before we head out. And as always, I am your host, Chad Singleton.
I'm your host, Dmitri.
I'm Marcus.
And I am the guest, Jaromir François.
And this has been the Square Roundtable podcast. Good night, guys. We are out.
Peace.
Peace.